The world went crazy for Jujutsu Kaisen when it first came out in 2020. Now, fans of the series are delighted to know that they'll get to see the backstory of Yuta Okkotsu in Jujutsu Kaisen 0. If you've seen Season 1 of the anime, Yuta has only been mentioned by the other characters. In the movie, fans finally see him animated for the very first time, and the identity of the cursed spirit that constantly hangs with him is revealed. How you doing there, guys, and welcome back to Anycap Explained. Today, we'll be recapping the anime Jujutsu Kaisen 0. Let's begin. In the movie, we see a 16-year-old Yuta getting cornered in a school. Rika, a curse, grabs one of the bullies and nearly kills everyone. Because of the incident, Yuta gets detained by Jujutsu sorcerers for execution. However, a man named Satoru Goju enrolls him in Tokyo Metropolitan Curse Technical College, often referred to as Jujutsu High School, to train him to use the curse. Panda, Maki Zenin, and Togi Inumaki are discussing the new transfer student in the school. In the classroom, they finally meet him and are shocked when they sense his cursed spirit. Before Yuta could even introduce himself, the three students were quick to attack. While Yuta is pinned down, Satoru explains what the school is about. He warns the students to back away from Yuta because the cursed spirit protecting him is starting to get mad. The scene then cuts to a flashback of Yuta's childhood. His memories reveal that Yuta was friends with a girl named Rika Orimoto who gave him a ring. Rika tells him that when they grow up, they will marry. The next scene depicts a car crash with the victim revealed to be Rika. After the incident, Rika turns into a curse that latches on the terrified Yuta. Back to the present time, Satoru warns the students that if they try to harm Yuta, Rika will also attack. He then proceeds to introduce the students to Yuta. Gojo tells the students that they will be paired into two, with Yuta partnered with Maki. Satoru then brings Maki and Yuta to an elementary school where students have been missing due to a curse's activities. Satoru puts up a veil and leaves Maki and Yuta to take care of the curse. Curses immediately greet the two, but Maki manages to finish them off. The pair then proceeds to investigate the school. When they find the curse responsible for the problems, the curse devours them. Inside the curse, Yuta finally learns how to harness Rika's power and manages to escape with Maki and the two missing kids. At the hospital, Yuta recalls his first meeting with Rika. The two eventually became close friends over time. He also remembers that he accepted Rika's proposal. He tells Satoru that he thinks it's his fault that Rika was turned into a curse. Back in school, Satoru tells Yuta to imbue Rika's curse energy into a katana and start training with the sword. Satoru enlists Maki to help train Yuta. During one of their training sessions, Panda realizes something different about Maki and hurriedly calls Yuta over to talk. Panda asks what size of boobs he prefers, and Yuta answers he prefers them big. Satoru then tells Togi he's needed for a mission and asks Yuta to support him. Before the two depart on the mission, Satoru tells Yuta not to let Rika out. Togi and Yuta are then brought to the closed Hapina shopping district to get rid of the curse. They find a swarm of low-level curses, and Togi defeats them using his curse speech technique. However, it turns out that there was one more curse that they have to take care of. Yuta suggests that he should help Togi defeat the higher-level curse instead of simply observing. With their combined effort and Yuta's extra training, they successfully defeat the curse. Unknown to the two students, they were being watched by Suguro Geto, who managed to get Yuta's ID. When the older sorcerers investigate the areas after the curses have been eliminated, they learn that a second veil was put on top of Kiyotaka Ichiji's veil, which explains why the students couldn't leave immediately. Based on the evidence and report, Satoru suspects that the one responsible for the curse and the extra veil is his ex-friend Suguro. Meanwhile, Suguro is exercising curses from normal human beings to collect cursed spirits for him to use. Kanimori, one of Suguro's donors, demands to have a cursed spirit removed, but they find out he hasn't been donating for half a year. Suguro then kills Kanimori and proceeds to a meeting. In the meeting, he tells his followers that they will target Jujutsu High School next. Before he launches an attack, he decides to pay a visit to the school and meet Yuta. The first-year students are the first to meet him, and they all stand ready to attack. Suguro ignores them and immediately goes to talk to Yuta. He invites Yuta to join his cause. He tells Yuta he plans to create a world only for sorcerers. Satoru and the other school staff appear to interrupt Suguro and Yuta's conversation. Yuta refuses to join him. Suguro then decides to declare war against the school. He then departs from the school, but leaves some cursed spirits to give them problems. In a meeting among the faculty, Masamichi Yaga, the school's principal, tells the sorcerers to prepare to fight a war. He also demands aid from all the school's alumni and students involved. Meanwhile, Suguro explains to his followers that he needs Yuta's cursed spirit Rika to win this war. Interesting story up to this point? Great. But before we go on ahead, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel and do give us a like. Done? Okay, then let's continue. Maki and Yuta are left alone in the school while the other students are dispatched to help fight the war. Maki reveals that she has no cursed energy and cannot see any curses if she isn't wearing her glasses. She tells Yuta that she aims to be a great Jujutsu sorcerer despite not possessing any cursed energy. Unknown to them, Suguro enters the school and casts a veil on the entire school, trapping Maki and Yuta inside. Meanwhile, amid the war, Satoru figures out Suguro's plans, so he sends Panda and Toge back to the school to defend Yuta and Maki. However, once Suguro's followers notice that Satoru has figured out their plan, Miguel decides to provoke him into a fight. When Toge and Panda finally arrive at the school, Maki is already severely wounded. Nevertheless, they break through the veil, and Panda immediately goes after Suguro. Just as Panda appears to lose, Toge also joins the battle. However, the two of them are still unable to defeat Suguro. Unaware of the fighting, Yuta finally decides to look for Maki, only to find his classmates defeated on the ground. Enraged by the scene before him, Yuta calls out Rika and they fight Suguro. Amidst the chaos, Yuta and Rika manage to get Yuta's classmates out of danger. Yuta tells Rika that they should now focus on defeating Suguro. Rika creates a tool for Yuta to use Toge's curse speech technique. Thanks to the megaphone she made, Yuta is able to obliterate several cursed spirits with a single word. However, the fight between Yuta and Suguro is far from over. Meanwhile, Tokyo Jujutsu High School faculty and the students are all fighting to keep the damage to a minimum. Satoru manages to overwhelm the foreign Jujutsu sorcerer Miguel pretty quickly. But even with Satoru fighting in the front lines, Jujutsu High still suffers significant losses. Back in the school, Yuta is now on the ground with Suguro, and they both prepare their weapons to fight. Even with less than a year of experience, Yuta can expertly wield his sword against Suguro, but Suguro still proves to be a difficult opponent for him to face. Yuta takes Suguro by surprise when he uses a technique called Black Flash against him, despite Yuta's sword getting destroyed. As a final attempt to kill Yuta, Suguro uses all of his curse spirits to launch an attack against Yuta. Viewers are brought back to the war scene, where characters from Jujutsu Kaisen's first season are portrayed in short fight scenes. Characters such as Kento Nanami, Noritoshi Kamo, Kasumi Miwa, Mekamaru, Mei Zenin, Momo Nishinawa, and Aoi Todo are among them. Back in the school fight, Yuta takes a moment to thank Rika for falling in love with him. He pleads with Rika to help him defeat Suguro. He confesses that he also loves her and promises to die with her after the fight. Elated with Yuta's declaration of his love for her, Rika releases the full potential of her power. This allows Yuta to fire a blast strong enough to counter Suguro's technique. The blast proves too powerful for Suguro, and he decides to retreat. On his way to the exit, Satoru intercepts him. The dying Suguro returns Yuta's ID to Satoru and confesses that the incident in the elementary school was also his responsibility. It's assumed that Suguro dies off-screen after his talk with Satoru. Yuta then awakens and finds himself surrounded by his classmates. He then walks towards Rika and explains to his friends that he promised Rika he would die with her. But as he turns to face her, he sees Rika in her normal form. Satoru then makes an appearance and congratulates Yuta for breaking Rika's curse. He reveals that he and Yuta are actually distant relatives, and Yuta is a descendant of a great sorcerer named Michizane Sugawara. Reality finally hits Yuta, and he breaks down in guilt before everyone. However, Rika thanks him for allowing her to stay with him longer. She finally bids Yuta farewell and disappears. After the entire fight and the war, Yuta continues his days as a Jujutsu sorcerer and meets up with Maki, Panda, and Toge to begin their next assignment. After the ending credits, a year has passed and Yuta is abroad on a mission. He is seen talking to Miguel. However, Satoru makes a sudden appearance and the movie ends right there. The movie is a fantastic prequel to Jujutsu Kaisen and sheds a lot of light on the history of Yuta. In fact, Yuta is just as interesting as Yuji Itadori, the current protagonist of the Jujutsu Kaisen series. In the present series, Yuta is regarded as one of the strongest Jujutsu sorcerers and may be powerful enough to surpass even Satoru. The movie shows his humble beginnings as a bullied student transforming into a strong and confident sorcerer. Despite his acquired power, he remains to be a polite individual who's constantly amazed by his fellow classmates. This makes people appreciate how he has grown and retained the vital points of his character. Thanks a lot for watching, you guys. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing so that you never miss out on any new recaps. That's all for today, and we'll see you again next time.